Good day, children of the cosmos. We need people who can inspire humanity and guide us towards the light when the world is bad, as it is right now, or at the very least, show us why we are here on the third rock from the sun. Indigo children are believed to be divine beings with superhuman abilities who were brought here to improve life as we know it. Heavy? Yes. We may also say that these aren't aliens. No. Those who support the hypothesis contend that these are individuals that you may already be familiar with. In fact, it's believed that indigo children were born between 1978 and 1988, therefore there's a good potential that not only do you already know one, but you are also an indigo child yourself. Curious? Scared? Inspired? Skeptical? Whether you agree with the notion or not, this explanation should act as an introduction to the background and characteristics of an indigo child. Numerous scholarly studies have taken a critical stance on the idea and what it would imply for the children in question. Who coined the phrase indigo child? The parapsychologist and psychic Nancy and Tapp is credited with coining the phrase indigo children while researching human auric fields in the 1970s. While there were a few people with indigo auras back then, she noted a large number of children with indigo auras from 1978 to the late 1980s, which made her think a new generation of spiritual leaders, also known as indigo children, were about to arrive. What symptoms indicate an indigo child? Apart from the year of your birth, which, by the way, doesn't automatically make you an indigo child, if you are one, you have the following qualities: extreme empathy, sensitivity, a high level of intuition and psychic ability, an innate spirituality, a deep desire to help the world, a special bond with animals and nature, stubbornness, a sense of alienation, as well as the knowledge that you are special and meant to accomplish great things. Do you think you may know someone who is an indigo child? Or perhaps you've always had a sneaking suspicion that you were one. Fortunately, there are many questions you may ask to find out if you truly belong to this small magical age. You might be an indigo child if you can relate to most of the following questions. I have no trouble figuring out what other people are feeling or thinking. I consider myself to be wise beyond my years and/or other people do too. I often have an unusual personality or disposition. I have a propensity to be quite perceptive of my surroundings. I have the impression that I have a personal purpose to complete. People frequently describe me as strange or odd. I have a strong sense of intuition and frequently rely on it for direction. I have a sensitivity to red meat, additives, and refrigerants. I have smarts, but I don't always do well in school. I have a creative side and like working with my hands. I like being aware of the rationale behind decisions. I was a disobedient student who didn't like doing my homework or showing respect to adults. Growing up, I frequently experienced existential depression, a sense of powerlessness, and suicide ideas. I frequently felt like my voice isn't heard, especially when it comes to politics. I often have nightmares that I can clearly recall. I tend to draw those who are emotionally out of balance and in need of healing. I've engaged in harmful habits like binge drinking and drug usage. I am very enthusiastic about the meaning of my life's work and how it relates to and influences my time on Earth. The indigo kid despises going to school. Indigo children don't enjoy going to school too much. Who among children like school, you might wonder? However, the indigo child doesn't fit within standard social institutions like the educational system. Instead, they adore pursuing their interests and curiosities. Although they are renowned for being voracious readers, indigo children do enjoy learning. However, they only wish to do so at their own pace and in their own way. It's vital to note that detractors of the indigo child notion think the New Age idea was developed to refute the reality of disorders like ADHD and autism. Therefore, those indigo kids who struggle in school may actually have ADHD, autism, or a learning disability that is either undetected or for which they are not receiving appropriate treatment. How would you identify an indigo child if you accepted the idea that such a person existed? Theoretically, you would notice that they are a little different. A rebellious loner who followed their own path and disobeyed authority. They are extremely talented individuals that prioritize creating from the heart over achieving financial success. They are the talented storytellers whose enthusiasm is motivating and wholly genuine. They reject social pressure to conform and speak out against perceived injustices in the world, in life, and in the workplace. The Indigo's challenge. Given their sensitivity, it makes reasonable that Indigos experience depression and anxiety frequently. Additionally, they could quickly become discouraged about their life's purpose, particularly if it appears they are making little to no progress toward their goals and interests. It can be depressing for them to absorb other people's energy in the room due to their on-point observations. Yes, they have psychic ability. Additionally, they have a tendency to isolate oneself because they frequently feel misunderstood. Indigo children place a high value on family, including forming a family out of friends and expanding their family network beyond conventional boundaries. Almost in a love the one you're with manner. Mother Nature and her requirements would come first, and we'd all cooperate to keep her safe. We would live from a foundation based on love, forgiveness, and trust, with everyone treated equally and with respect. Are Indigo children sociologically explicable? We understand if auras aren't your thing. Even yet, you might read the description of an Indigo child and recognize your own child, a friend, or even yourself. Can you accept Indigo children without accepting their spiritual underpinnings? Yes, in our opinion. After all, the period from 1978 to the late 1980s, when kids were born, was a particularly turbulent one for the planet. They saw the Challenger explosion, Chernobyl, and the AIDS explosion. Even events from our own life that we may not recall fully have the potential to affect who we are. Parents of Indigo children, presumably Zennials, can recall the discovery of the ozone hole, the desegregation of schools, and being among the first to start recycling. These experiences left an indelible impression on people, which could have easily discouraged the kind of personalities who defied convention, were passionately concerned about the environment, and exhibited greater empathy than those from generations before them. Because they had been raised to do so. My dear children of the cosmos, do you think you know an Indigo child?